Hey, today I'll be talking about episodes 10 through 12 of YanXi Palace. Over the next few days, Yingluo continues to stage run-ins with Fu Heng. Fu Heng's not completely blind, and as much as he finds her fun, he begins to suspect that some of her antics are not all innocent. I mean, to be fair, she does try to push him into a well at one point, so... Though Xian refused to beg for help from the Emperor, she does her best to send money for her brother, who is sick and imprisoned. She tries getting an advance on her salary, but that department is under the management of Gao's father, who won't let anyone but his precious daughter take anything out. Finally, she has no choice but to try selling her things. It is 100% illegal to sell or even accidentally damage anything the Emperor gives you as a royal gift. So she decides to sell her own personal jewelry that she brought from home, even though those pieces no doubt mean the world to her. It will still need to be snuck out of the palace though, as she's trying to keep a low profile. She's handing the items off to two eunuchs who will then sell the items outside of the palace when in comes Gao, with a procession so big it's ridiculous that no one heard her until she was right on top of them. The older eunuch immediately turns on the younger one, slapping him and accusing him of stealing. He's thought quickly on his feet and realized he doesn't want to get caught up in this. Better to throw his little apprentice under the bus. Worried about getting her in trouble, even Xian's maid goes along with the stealing story. This is an incredibly loyal sacrifice because she could no doubt be killed for this. The only one not going along with it is the young eunuch, who continues to profess his innocence no matter how much they try to force him. Noble Xian could never go along with this. She tells Gao the truth, that she's in desperate need of money for her brother and she's selling her jewelry to get it. Despite the clearly understandable situation, Gao refuses to show even a lick of decency and makes Xian kneel down and beg her not to tell. And even then, she still has her jewelry destroyed before they go. Now to be clear, Gao would have been more lenient if Xian had promised fealty to her and only reacted like this when Xian made it clear that she wouldn't. But Xian wasn't rude about it, and it would have cost her exactly $0 to just not be an absolute bitch about this. I don't know why I was expecting any kindness from Gao, but honestly, this was just so mean. While she has decided to lay low for a while, Jia continues to worry about Yu's baby and the threat it poses to her Yongcheng. Her son is only 2, but compared to the other princes at that age, he's not exceptionally bright, so Jia is desperate to avoid any future competition. She decides to make another move. The Empress and Yu are walking one day and they run into Jia, Gao, and Gao's dog Snowball. I know legally you aren't supposed to say mean things about dogs or babies, but that is one ugly dog. Yu is scared of the dog and tries to leave, but something startles it, causing it to chase her. Yu is terrified, so Yingluo steps in and kicks it out of the way. Gao blames Yingluo for hurting her dog, but this is such an easy one to slip out of. I mean, come on, the dog was attacking a pregnant concubine. Not sure what kind of silly plan that was. All it's done is put them on high alert for the dog in the future. Gao seems to agree with me and takes it out on Jia when they get back. Jia clearly did not consult Gao ahead of time, and her fear for her son's position seems to be affecting her scheming skills. Jia begs her to grant her one more chance to get this right, persuading Gao that this will be for her benefit as well. Yingluo is sent to check on Yu, and honestly, I think the Empress should just post her there full time because in literally 3 minutes, she finds out that Yu's longtime maid has secretly been poisoning her and working for Jia. Rather than get rid of the servant, they decide to pretend they are still being conned and wait for Jia to send over more of the poison. They send out a message that Yu has begun to suffer from abdominal pains in the hope that it will convince Jia that her plan is working. It's a solid plan. Unfortunately, Jia is immediately tipped off that they're trying to trick her because it's far too early for this slow-acting poison to be showing symptoms. Though Xian did tell the truth in the end, it was of no help to the young eunuch who was severely punished and is living life in hell as his co-workers torment him. Apparently, when he first arrived here, he made his way up the ranks quite quickly, and his fellow eunuchs found him cocky. They're happy for the opportunity to mess with him. He gets the worst jobs, never gets any food, and is reduced to stealing Gao's dog food, though to be fair it's just meat jerky, so pretty good actually. To say this is unfair is an understatement, but it's clear he's not the type to just curl up and die. He reminds me a bit of Yingluo in fact. For the Empress's birthday, the Emperor gives her something amazing. Lychees usually need to be transported all the way from Fujian, and of course by the time they arrive will have lost a bit of their freshness, so the Emperor had the idea of transporting the trees themselves. The Emperor is so head over heels for this woman, it's wild. This guy, who spares barely a glance for any of the women in the harem, will do anything to make her smile. Oh! Yingluo has proven herself in the Empress's eyes, and she trusts no one but her to take care of this most precious gift. Mingyu is jealous as hell, of course, but it's so silly because what has she ever done to prove herself responsible?
你说娘娘能把事交给你干吗？
Exactly. Just like those sour maids at the embroidery department. How about instead of complaining, you just be better? Xian is still struggling to put together the money, but it just isn't working out. First, she tries going to the various low-ranked concubines that she has helped in the past, but they either have no money or are unwilling to reciprocate. Chun actually approaches her with the money in full, but she has no choice but to reject it when Chun makes it clear that there are strings attached. Those strings being that she pledged allegiance to the Empress.
从收下这份银子的那一刻开始，我就再也不会有自己的立场。
It seems like flying straight is just impossible in this place, and it's simply going to come down to a choice between her ideals or her family. The day of the poison delivery arrives, and Yu's maid goes to meet with Jia's maid for her poison handoff. This is the same day the Empress is hosting a banquet to show off her lychee trees and share the fruit. Jia, already aware that they're onto her, planned ahead. When Yingluo catches Jia's maid, she has nothing on her but a scented pouch. Jia's maid tries to stall Yingluo, making her suspicious, so she runs off to the banquet. Her suspicions were right, as these two have come up with a plan to shame the Empress and finally get rid of Yingluo in one fell swoop. When Yingluo arrives at the greenhouse, she finds the lychee trees completely stripped of their fruit.
我们可怎么办呀？
I'm getting major Jixiang flashbacks here. What were you doing? Yingluo tells the servants to salvage any usable lychees to send to the royal kitchen to make the day's dishes. She then sends a message to the Empress that one of the trees will be presented at the banquet as planned so the Empress can pick the fruit in person. At the banquet, the Empress finally acknowledges Shen's money trouble, which has been driving me insane because there's no way all of this was flying under the radar, and it doesn't fit the new Empress vibes to just be ignoring it. The Empress tells Xian that she noticed the extra effort she put into her birthday present and wants to reward her.
臣妾早就说过，要在众多的寿礼当中选出一件最喜欢的，赏赐送礼的人。
Xian is rewarded with silver, no strings attached. Maybe it is possible to stick to your morals and make it in this place. The Emperor asks after Yu's health, which is wild because I'm pretty sure we haven't seen him visit her once. I will never get over how little he cares about this pregnancy. Finally, Yingluo arrives, covered up lychee tree behind her. Betraying not even a hint of nervousness, she presents the scissors for the Empress to pick the fruit with. Before all this, Yingluo had a chance to give Yu a heads up. Yu pretends to be even more scared than she was before, saying she's been terrorized by that dog and look what it's done now. The Empress has of course been fed up with Gao for a long time and uses this as an opportunity to begin railing into her for all her attitude problems lately. Chun and Yingluo are also putting in a lot of heavy lifting here. They really know just what to say to make Gao look like the devil. Not that she made that very hard. Gao tries a preemptive strike and tells the Emperor that she will skin the dog alive when they get home, but the Empress easily makes that backfire.
它不过是一条狗，它懂得什么是是非对错。
Yeah, you walked right into that one. In all honesty, the Emperor seems more upset about his awesome birthday present than about you or the fetus. Anyway, looks like he's gonna bring down the hammer, but at the last minute, Jia steps up and takes the blame.
都是嫔妾的错。
She says Gao specifically asked her to keep an eye on Snowball and it's her fault it got loose. She apologizes to everyone, including the lower-ranked Yu Guiren, which is a huge blow to her ego. Though, honestly, I get that. There is a special kind of uncomfortableness about having to grovel to someone you think is beneath you. Yu's not beneath her for much longer. The Emperor demotes Jia to Guiren and grounds her for 3 months. As for Gao, he revokes a year's salary.
身为储秀宫的主贵，管不好人也管不好狗，真是无能之极。
Devastating blow. Later, Yingluo tells the Empress what really happened. The Empress is, as always, very impressed with her ability to think on her feet. She decides to put more stock into Yingluo and teach her how to read, which is exactly the right move. You're the boss who's been blessed with an incredibly sharp, hardworking, loyal employee. Of course, you should do everything you can to help them grow and keep them by your side.
不能枉费了上天赋予你的天赋。
A few hours later, the Emperor is reading and it suddenly hits him. How did that little dog get to the fruit at the top of the tree? Took you long enough, and yeah, why didn't anyone else bring that up? Heat of the moment, I guess. Anyway, this time he's kind of impressed. It's too late for him to go back on all the punishments he's doled out, and Yu definitely wasn't lying about that dog terrorizing her, so he just has to leave it at that.
也是为了维护皇后，只是他今借朕的手报仇，可恨，太可恨。
Another great plan from Yingluo, though we didn't expect any less from her. I wonder just how many floggings Jia and Gao are going to have to take before they understand to stop messing with her. A scene I loved that I didn't talk about was Yingluo going to see Yu before the banquet and telling her that she had to fight. Yu said she didn't have any weapons to fight with, and Yingluo told her that her timidness, her tears, and most importantly, the baby in her belly were all weapons. I just love that because it's such a cool way to think about how to turn the things you might think of as weaknesses into things you can use to attack your enemies. And Yu did just that flawlessly. I do wish they would have added just one line to make the dog thing slightly more believable. All they had to do was say that the dog was on a diet. I'm just saying, I know some spoiled dogs and they are not running off to someone who kicked them before for some random scrap of meat. Okay, on to Xian. I can't get over how difficult her situation is. It's cool seeing the consistency and characterization between this Xian and Xian from Marie's Royal Love, and how trying to stick so desperately to your morals can be the death of you. Even after getting the money from the Empress, though she's grateful, she's still worried about what it could mean for her future, since of course the Empress wouldn't have known about it without Chun bringing it to her attention, so in a way she still owes her. Even when someone says there are no strings attached, it doesn't always actually work out that way, which is just what she's afraid of. And in a way, Chun trapped her because she had no way to refuse the public gift. If that was Chun's plan, and I think it was because she doesn't seem like the kind intentions type, it's brilliant. But maybe, fingers crossed, it was more of a kill them with kindness thing, and she hopes that treating Xian with sincerity will bring her over to their side eventually. A lesson that Gao clearly never learned. Xian's arc really has my whole attention. I'm rooting for her. Till next time, thanks for watching.
快认罪！我没罪！快认罪！我没罪！